interestingly enough, around 70% of people that are not my patients and we're followed online. We posted on Facebook, on YouTube, and we generally do them live. But it's interesting to have Michael Olmos today because you are right in the epicenter of where cinema is made. In fact, you're a producer. What else? How else are you involved in the movie industry?
I'm a filmmaker, or I'm a writer, director, producer. I have films at Sundance. I work with Olmos Productions, which is the company of Edward James Olmos, and he's got a deal at Disney. So we're on the lot, and we're always pitching projects. Yeah, uh, on many levels. I work in development. I work as a director. I work as nothing right now because nothing's happening.
Yeah, and that's where the conversation is going to. So, so your dad is Edward James Olmos.
Correct.
That's well, that's hard steps to follow, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy. He never stops. But he's very. It's he's an inspiration to all of us, all the kids. He's very encouraging and like most parents probably like don't go into the arts, and he was very encouraging when we decided to make that transition into the arts.
Well, I mean, obviously you're following on his footsteps and you're doing an incredible job because you and I have been friends for a while now. I remember once you visited Tijuana to our small little hospital, and I'm pretty sure you were impressed. What do you remember from that time?
Very impressed, man. Not only that, but it was my first time standing in surgery and observing, and I was just trying not to pass out. But I couldn't believe how incredibly talented you guys were, and just how fast the surgery happened. I had no, I guess I didn't have any expectations, but I got to say, when I walked into the clinic, everything was so state of the art with your clinic. I felt like I was in Santa Monica, down like in one of these hospitals or these buildings. Everything was so state of the art. Everyone was just so professional and so, like, I don't know, very, very good vibe. Overall, just a great people, great staff. And the surgery was just so fast. I didn't understand how I still were, because I went down with two producers and a writer, and we were talking about it in the car on the way back, and we were kind of in awe of the work that you guys were doing down there, and we're really grateful that you continue to do it.
Well, I'm glad you guys stopped by. I remember when somebody called me and said, "Oh, Mr. Michael Olmos is coming over with some producers and stuff like that." And I said, "That's easy. Just put them in surgical gowns, stick them in the OR, and I'll impress the hell out of them." Because for anybody else, it's like, "Oh my God, they're cutting into a patient." Whatever, right? So yeah, it's an impressive environment, but I was glad to host that visit down there, and that's how we developed our friendship over the years. And so that's why I'm picking your brain today, because I'm pretty sure everybody has been binging on Netflix and on content on their wherever they stream their content from, but nobody's producing content. What is going on with production now?
So everything is shut down. I mean, everything that was shot that went to post-production is in post. So, if you happen to wrap all your projects before the shutdown and you're in post, that's happening. I had no projects in post, but I have friends that are working in post-production, editors and so forth. And they said that they're working remotely from home, on secure servers, and they're so I think a few of them, and they can work in. So far as production, everything is on hold. My dad's on my ends, and that was supposed to start in April. That got pushed, and everyone's hoping it will be very soon. I mean, I hear the dates keep changing, as we know, with everything. So we don't know. Nobody. There's a lot of uncertainty. Um, what we have been doing is just developing. I've actually been, writing. I've had one of the good things. The upsides is I've had much more time to actually sit down and be creative. So myself and all my sort of filmmaker writer friends have just been just writing, and we're trying to put together as much content as we can in the time, so that when it opens up, we'll come out of it, which with at least feeling that we've accomplished something and having product ready to go. um, Keeps us sane, you know. But yeah, man, it's tough. I don't know. I wish I had the answers, but see, I've been reading articles like everyone else of like what the industry is going to look like after this, what production is going to look like, what sets are going to look like. I'm a member of the Directors Guild, and we get emails, and that they're taking, like, every union is taking, obviously taking all the medical advice, and trying to figure out what sort of like what it's going to be afterwards. But we don't know. Nobody. I wish we knew, but the uncertainty is very it's very disturbing for everyone.
I actually work with a company down here in Baja Studios
Yeah.
in Mexico, and we've been working on a safety algorithm to get production companies back on their feet. So and it does require a lot of science. In fact, I host a webinar, live webinar with regular uh, streams with top global experts on the topics of infectious disease. This last one was on this Tuesday with Oxford University virologists, pharmacologists, uh, mathematical modelers, etc. And they're all on the one side saying we don't have anything yet, but on the other side they're saying but there's hope. So we're right there, and this leads me to the next question. We're consuming all the content
Mhm.
very quickly because everybody's staying at home. There's no production happening really right now to speak of. And then you've got several other streaming platforms that suddenly either took their content or stole some of that airtime. Do you foresee a shortage really soon?
Oh yeah, oh massive. There's going to be a massive shortage of footage. That's it. The upside is that, and to your point, why we're all creating as much as we can right now is because we know there's going to be a huge demand. Um, and they're going to go, and it's going to create a lot of opportunities for a lot of people, because they're gonna have like your J.J. Abrams and your sort of like your top of the food chain creators and producers. That's all their stuff's going to get taken up, and eventually it's going to be so broad. And I think a lot of the, like we talked earlier about in the medical field, that a lot of the barriers have been taken down, right? So far
Yeah.
as international medicine, and so far as getting things, medicines to people and all this stuff. I think the same thing's going to happen, or is happening, and will happen if it hasn't, in our industry, where they're they're just going to be scooping up as much good content as they can. So I think the silver lining of this cloud is that I think new careers will start. There'll be a lot of new people that get a shot, and people that historically didn't get a shot before because there was just not enough demand will get a shot. I think, think about this: if it's everything is clear for us to start, once it clears for us to start going into massive amounts of production, they're going to need more directors, more writers, more. So it won't, all this stuff of like inclusion and all that stuff, I think is going to fall away fast. You're just going to need um, people who are competent at their jobs in as many positions as possible, as soon as possible. So I think that is an upside, but until then, yeah, we're going to be there's going to be a drought of new content. Audience member, yeah. I'm not looking forward to that.
Even doctors are going to get a shot, I understand.
Right? Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about your show.
So going to that show, yeah, why not? Why not? Hey, let's pitch it right now. Um, Back then, there was a lot of cookie cutter things going on in the industry, but then suddenly somebody went Dora on us, like Dora the Explorer. It's like Spanglish, English, Spanish, and and then it became uh, more. The industry became more friendly to that concept. Is that precise?
Yeah, I think, well, the industry always goes with the audience, which is not a lot of people like to admit that, but they do. When you move in the big, sort of like, it's like we're saying, moving an aircraft, turning an aircraft carrier or cruise ship as fast as possible, right? That's very slow. And the industry will eventually adapt, but it's always adapting to market forces. And I think what was cool about, we saw with like the Spanglish or the English and Spanish productions or bilingual productions, that all came out of the fact that that we all knew this very much so, that the Hispanic audience here in the U.S. drove the box office, and not across the board, not just on actually less on Spanish language films, more on like Marvel films. If you look at, or Fast and the Furious, you start looking at those numbers, you'll see, I think the MPA put out a report that like something like 70 or 80% of the audience for Fast and the Furious was 70 or 80% of the audience for the Fast and Furious franchise was Latino, right?
Latino power, man.
Yeah, so that's like that. So now, like, and the whole thing was like, one of the arguments we used to hear, let's go these pitches with Edward, and it's like, hey, we don't need to make sort of content aimed at Latino audiences because they come see Spider-Man or they come see our movies anyways. And we're like, no, but they will continue to see those movies, but it'd be cool if you also gave it something that was like even more culturally relevant to their lives, and then you get both, you get gratitude on both sides. That was the idea. And I think you're seeing that now, where people are just demanding, like, hey, I want to, I want to see that stuff up there. Like, why not? And they're doing it, so it was cool. It was cool, and to the point of like the non-Spanish speaking audiences, they were getting a kick out of it also. So it's a generational thing. It's an audience thing, and I think it's all moving in the right space, slowly but surely.
And this is something dear to your heart as well as to your father's, right? This is something you guys have explored.
Absolutely. Like, just diversity in general for us is important. Like seeing faces up there and voices that relate to our lives and the lives of our community and our friends and families and the people we know. Like, yeah, of course we want to tell our stories too. And we want our kids to see those faces up there and be, be moved. I mean, like, look, I often say, hey, when I was little, I would look at Superman. I'd want to be Superman. It didn't matter that he was white. On tape, it was Superman, right? It was like it was an archetype that we all had, admired and that we wanted to be. And, until there was Supergirl, little girls would pretend, my sister, should dress up as Superman too, right? So but it would be nice if we had archetypes that kind of looked like us too. And we see that in sports. Look, little white kids want to be Michael Jordan, right? It's just, it's an archetype, and we want to give those things because they create a sense of self-worth and empowerment and belonging and confidence, that, as you see, we're all connected with this thing, like that helps our communities, helps our cities or country or world.
Yeah. Yeah. So the natural question is, how do you end up with a crazy surgeon as your probable next project, man?
Man, I don't know. Because I love you, dude. Because I love you. You're the man. because you're such a great human being, and you're infectious. You're infectious, and you're generous. No, no, I'm excited. This is like how this thing about, but it, it took many years, right? How long have we been? God, it's been what, over five. It's been a
Over
while.
five,
Yeah,
five or
yeah,
6 years. Yeah.
yeah, 5 or 6 years that we've known you. We had another project that we wanted to do down in TJ, and we met Dr. Ortiz, and you opened up your clinic and your life and your family and everything to us. Um, and then this thing came out of just getting to know you. I think it's important right now, not to know you, to know TJ, and to know what's going on down there in the medical industry and going down. Like, I love that. I mean, we ended up taking, and we took them to Boxell, but we ended up taking two agents, or one partner and an agent from WME down there to see this Boxell Studios, and they could not believe what they were seeing in TJ. They were like, "What? Like, this is not the TJ I remember." And this was 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So it's even changed. And so to open up, and when I went down there to your clinic, I couldn't believe it. And I even had friends that were like, "You're going to TJ? Oh man, like, I don't know if you're going to make it back." Like it's still the same perception from like 20 years ago of
Dude,
what,
that's a great selling point for a program. Just
you know.
the morbid imaginations. TJ, let's see what's happening down there.
Yeah, and I came back and and I tell people about it, and and the people want to know more. So this came out. This is going to be this show. I'm telling you, I'm really excited because this is important on so many levels. Like the institute and the work that you're doing. Especially with the COVID and what's going on. The fact we talked about the fact that medical professionals are now in the zeitgeist of the whole world, especially here in the States, and the importance of showing respect and understanding the work they do and the sacrifices people in the medical field, the real heroes, you know. I mean, I'm just a filmmaker. I'm not physically saving a life. I may give you a few laughs and a few cries and give you some catharsis, but really, like, the people that are gonna you know take you from the bed and back into the arms of your family are the people that are most important to all of us, because we're all susceptible, we're all mortal, and we're all going to be sick, and throughout our lives. So I think this show is going to operate in so many levels. One is like show people what's happening there, the really truly advanced stuff that you're doing, um, and this institute that you're building, and also this approach. And I don't know if I want to talk about it yet, or you want, or I might butcher it. The way you talk about it is so poetic, but sort of like your approach to the future of healing is and on a philosophical level, on a moral level, and on a technological level is something I haven't heard of before. You know?
Well, you just put it poetically because I hadn't seen it that way. But when you end up putting yourself in this at uh, on in the patient's shoes, it's like I don't want just to be treated for something and then given a medication and told, well, you're gonna have to take this for life. You want hope, and you look to a physician for hope, and that's what we want to create. We want to create the whole spectrum of treatment, which is prevention, education, and the problem is right now the prevention is being done incorrectly. The education doesn't have the right basis. We're seeing that 8 out of 10 people in the U.S. and in Mexico have metabolic disease. 50% of the adult population of the United States has heart disease, which means that a company that manufactures the heart stents manufactures them in Tijuana. I don't know if you knew that, but
No,
most of the
no, no.
heart stents are manufactured in Tijuana.
Yeah.
which makes it interesting because then there's the probability that a good percentage of Americans will be carrying a small little piece of Tijuana in their heart. That's poetic. Boom.
Boom.
You want to put a line on the show? There you go. And
Beautiful.
and people sometimes misunderstand or media misrepresents what Tijuana is, but dude, like any big town, New York, many other towns, LA, we've gone through our growing pains, but now we're into our own. We've understood that we have to cater to our own people, to our own crowd, to our own citizens. And then we've created this huge industry, medical industry, the hospitality industry, the food restaurant. I mean, the restaurant industry, spectacular. The wine industry, largest beer production, microbreweries in Latin America. Cinema happening, like you were saying right now. Tijuana is the epicenter for a lot of stuff that now stands on its own versus how it used to be. Oh, you want to have something, go to Mexico City. Not anymore, brother. TJ is where it's at.
I love it, man. Yeah, I can't wait to show people. I can't wait to go down there. It's been a while too, just for me to be, I haven't been there in about a year, I think. So,
Well, hopefully this COVID-19 thing ends up soon, because I want to invite you for some nice mariscos, which is Mexican seafood. Great new restaurants down there. But I want to appreciate your time. I know you're busy, man, and we've had a great conversation today. And we're looking forward to naming that project and then putting it together and seeing what it's going to look like.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Dr. Ortiz.
Michael, it's a pleasure, man.
And man, I got to tell you, I just want to say I love your studio. I'm jealous. I'm hanging out in the kids' room, and you're like in the state. And this is just so you guys know, if you think that studio, if you're looking at the studio, you're impressed. You got to see this guy's clinic. It's like very futuristic. I love your design aesthetic is amazing.
It's all about the toys, my friend. Just don't tell my wife.
All right, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.
You too. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye.